Good evening, folks. Welcome to one more episode of, we call it as B.NET Wednesday Hangouts. Wednesday Hangout is an initiative from B.NET, Bangalore .NET User Group, India's one of the biggest and most active user groups in India. Uh, this is a very special episode of Hangout. On June 12th, we had done a day-long event called as WebEd, or Web Education, as we call it. Giving the education of web to the community. So this was a day-long event which focused, so June 14th, which focused on exclusively single day, two tracks, ASP.NET. I'm happy to say that most of you wanted to see the same in-person session that was happened on WebEd to be presented here in the Hangout. So I'm happy to say I have with me Hitesh and Kumar Vishesh from Aditi Technologies. These guys presented an excellent session on smart web forms in ASP.NET 4.5. So this is going to be a recap of what was done on WebEd. As part of Hangout, this will be available as a recorded video. You can always go to youtube.com/b.nettv, BDOTNET TV, and you can watch it live there, or post this live event, we will be having the recording version available. Without much further ado, I'm going to give it back to Hitesh and Kumar. Hitesh, Kumar, floor is yours.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Lohit, for the introduction. Just to add about myself, I am Kumar Vishesh. As an associate technical architect with Aditi Technologies. I have been working on Microsoft Stack for pretty much most of my career, and I build and architect different solutions on Microsoft Stack, including SharePoint 2007 to 2013. I've also started working on AWS now. I'm a AWS certified solution architect, and that's pretty much about it. Hitesh, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi everyone. Thank you, Vishesh. Yeah, this is Hitesh. I am working in the Microsoft technology since more than 12 years now. Okay, develop the many enterprise application, real-time application, and have extensive experience in the complete .NET technology. Currently, I am working in Aditi Technology as a technical architect. Thank you.
Right. So to get started with our session, it is about smart web forms in ASP.NET. As you guys might be aware, Microsoft has released a new version of the ASP.NET technology. Sorry. Now, there are a lot of improvements in the ASP.NET, and these improvements have been based on the industry and the community feedback. A lot of these improvements were actually based on solving different problems that were previously present in the ASP.NET web form technology, and Microsoft has done a great effort in solving those. So let's go over them one by one. Right. So these are the things that we will cover on this session. One is the unobtrusive validation, HTML5 updates, strongly typed data controls, model binding, and HTML encoded data binding expressions. I will be taking over the unobtrusive validation and HTML5 updates, and Hitesh will take on from there. Now, what does unobtrusive validation mean? I'll just start showing you how exactly it works. So let's just go right into the demo. Right. If you can see my screen, this is a form. This is a sample form that I've just created. Nothing fancy about it. A bunch of text fields with validator controls attached to each of them so as to increase the page size. Now what happens is when we used to add, prior to 4.5, ASP.NET 4.5, we used to add all these controls, and to do standard validation, we used to add required field validators, regular expression validators, and whatnot. Now what happens is when you add all these validators, the pages become heavy. To give you an example, if you see my screen, the page size is currently 18.3 kilo characters. And now how am I calculating that? I've just taken the code. I've just taken the page size and divided it by 1024, and that's how I'm calculating the number of characters on this page. How am I calculating the number of script characters on this page? I've just taken the script tag and got the content inside it and dividing it by 1024. So now if you see, I have 18.3 kilo characters and 10.2 kilo characters of script size on this page. Now the question is, why is this important? Why am I trying to show you how much of a page size is this and how much is the script size? The reason being, all these search engines that we have currently, they reward sites for being fast. If the site is fast, loads quicker than, let's say, its competitor, the search engine will rank the site higher. And we all know that a higher rank in the search engine actually means more money. To give an example, there was a study done by a company for Amazon.com. They evaluated that if Amazon.com was slower by 1 second on average on each of its page, it would lose $1.6 billion, not million, but $1.6 billion of revenue every year. Now that is a lot of money for just 1 second, right? So that puts some context into how speed loading, how the page loading speed of a particular site can help gain more money for your company. And how does that happen? How is that dependent on the page size? Because all this page has to get transferred over the internet. If the page size is smaller, the site will load quicker, right? Now what has happened is Microsoft, as part of ASP.NET 4.5, has given a nice setting which is actually enabled by default in 4.5, called unobtrusive validation mode equal to WebForms. And all I have to do is, let me just go back, 18.3 and 10.2. All I do is just go back, build my solution, refresh this page, and just see, from 18.3 I got 12.7, and the script size from 10 point something, it has reduced to 1.2. Now that is an 80% reduction in the amount of script that was generated by the ASP.NET required field validators. Now once that reduces, what am I actually looking at is lesser data transferred over the internet. And since this is inline JavaScript, this was actually downloaded on every page load. Now this will no longer be the case, because this page actually does not have that script. So what exactly happens? I'll just go back and to show you how the page actually has changed. I'll just make it none, build it, refresh the page again, and just open the view source. Now where is all the script that got generated because of the required field validators? It is all here, right? So half of the page was the HTML, half of the page was the script. Now if I just enable this setting for WebForms and build it, refresh my page, what I get is 1.2 kilo characters of script size. Just open the view, open the page source, and what I see now is HTML5 compliant tags, which is the data-val tag, and all the script is actually generated into controls which the browser itself can understand without having any specific JavaScript for it. If you see, there is no extra JavaScript attached to this page now. That is lesser traffic on the network. That is more money in your pocket, in your company's pocket probably, right? So this is the important change that Microsoft has done. Now how does, for any new project on 4.5, this is enabled by default, but what happens if you have to upgrade your solutions, upgrade your code to the latest version of 4.5? How do you do that? Microsoft has given web config settings. There are actually 3 ways of doing it. One is the web config settings. You can have a setting enabled in the app settings, this just standard text for it. You just add that app settings and your code will just take this setting by default for your entire application. You can also use the global ASAX file for this, or you can do it at a page level by just enabling a setting called unobtrusive validation mode dot webforms. Right? So all you have to do is do something like this dot unobtrusive validation mode is equal to unobtrusive validation mode dot webforms, and that's all that you have to do to reduce the amount of script that gets generated by, let's say, 80 to 90%. That is unobtrusive validation. Any questions? Anyone?
So far, there are no questions at this moment.
Okay, thank you. Now moving on, Sorry. HTML5 updates now. What Microsoft has done with 4.5, it has given the multi-file upload control, which you can use on the server side as well. So if you upload multiple files, you will be able to get a handle of those files on the server, the byte array, the count, and everything. Mode support for the text mode property of the text box. Now you can have text mode properties like date, date time local, email, URL, color, and I'll show you how that works. And there are updates to the update panel as well. Now I'll just quickly show you how this thing works. If you can now see my screen, what I have is multitude of fields. If you see the first one, this is the HTML field with required field validation. This is a standard HTML field. I can show the code. HTML field, input type text, and that's about it. Now, how does ASP.NET give you a field which is accessible on the server side as well, along with this functionality? So if you see here, my field says ASP text box, which means it's an ASP.NET control, and the text mode is equal to email. So now if I go back and just fill something here, vishesh@gmail.com, and then try to submit, it will say this field is required. And if I just type some other name here, Vish, and then try to submit, it says please include an @ in the email address. Vish is missing an @. So it gives you a proper formatted message. Now just to make sure, this message will probably be the same on all browsers, but it will look very different on different browsers, because that's how the browsers have implemented the HTML5 standard. Now if I just say vish@gmail and then try to submit, it's fine, right? Because all it validates is for the address. So what you can do is, in this case, you can use a pattern, something like this, to make sure that you validate your controls properly. By default, the HTML standard just asks you to ensure that whether the email has an @ or not. If you want more validation, a better validation, you should use the pattern attribute and give your own regular expression, something for URL. So let's say of type URL, let me type something Vishesh, which is, we know it's not a URL. It will say please enter a URL. So what should be the minimum criteria for a URL? Should either start with HTTP or HTTPS. But the HTML standard just asks you to validate for a colon. But in this case, since I have given a pattern here, it will validate for HTTP or HTTPS. So if I just give HTTP vishesh.com, then it should be fine. See, there was no error for this control. Now I'll try to show you a few other fields, few other text mode properties. For example, I'll show you I'll change this text mode. Color, I can choose color, I can choose date time local, email, month, multi-line, number, password. These are very common scenarios, and now it has been made very easy to use all these controls for creating our own forms. We don't have to write custom validation and keep googling for different regular expression validators for this. All that is built in. So let me just show you color. I mean, color, if I just save it here, build it, refresh it, I get a color picker. Right. Might be very useful for new websites who just have some app where you choose a color and it does something fancy with it. Right. Makes it very simple. So things like this are actually making web development a lot easier and less painful for common mundane scenarios, and the developer can now focus on the actual business logic rather than worrying about the nuances of the form. I'll show you just quickly another example before giving it over to Hitesh. The file upload control. What I'll do is I'll just fill out some things here. Required field, so anything is fine. URL, HTTP, .NET validators. These are just standard required fields, so I'll just fill them up. Before submitting, I will upload 3 files and see what does my control look like. Hitesh, do we have something on desktop?
Anything is fine. Yeah, you pick that. Whatever it is available. Yeah, you can pick that one.
And the
2 files.
let me just show you.
These 2 files you can pick.
These are DLLs. Just a second. Do you have some documents?
Scroll down. Actually, I maintain the separate folder, so you are struggling for that.
Yeah, sorry guys, this is Hitesh's laptop.
You pick those files, yeah.
That's a big, huge file, MDF file. That's okay.
Desktop RDP file is there.
Okay. So I'm checking, it says 2 files. If I submit, it will go back and say 2 files chosen of size 1440 KB, which is accurate because one was 1.2 MB, the other one was 200 KB. Now, how have I done that? Is to make sure it's pretty standard code. I've just checked whether the control has files or not. If it has, I've iterated over it, got the content length, and just showing it on the browser. Right. So if you are working with a multiple file upload control, which is supported in HTML5, you have the same support now on ASP.NET as well.
Hey Vishesh, we have a question. Do you want to take it now?
Yep.
Question is, how can I incorporate Bootstrap in this instead of HTML5?
Right. So Bootstrap and HTML5 solve very different problems. Bootstrap is for CSS, and HTML5 is HTML. Those are not interchangeable. Bootstrap will make your pages look nice. HTML just is what the browser understands. I mean, it's totally compatible. Those are totally separate things. Those are not interchangeable things. But just use Bootstrap with HTML5. There is nothing fancy about it.
Yeah, I think whoever is listening to this, so if you have asked the question live and you're there still there, so what Kumar is trying to say is HTML5 is the spec. Bootstrap is just a UI layouting framework that Twitter invented, or they kind of came out and then said, okay, let's do this. Bootstrap is used for layouting your things. I want when I'm looking at a desktop browser, I want all the 12 columns to be used, but when I'm looking at a mobile browser, I don't want my sidebars to be shown. So that's what Bootstrap does. It does rely on HTML5 specs. Bootstrap does use HTML5 and CSS3. So these two are not two different things, but they work hand in hand. I think that's the question that we had for now. You can go ahead.
All right, that was all from me. I'll hand over to Hitesh, and I'll be happy to take over any questions if they come in later. Thank you.
Thanks, Vishesh. So Vishesh has given the idea how can we earn the more money. It means how can our company earn the more money. Let me see that and what we can do to make our developer life easy. What Microsoft has brought something new in ASP.NET 4.5, which makes our developers life, which is life easy, which makes sense for us. Coming back to the PPT, why it's starting again and again from scratch. Okay. Yes. So let me start with the first new feature, strongly typed data control. What does that mean? Before going to what does that mean, let me show you what we have been doing so far to bind the data. Say you want to have some list of items in your page, or text box, or anything which you want to bind with some data, data grid or stuff like that, not really text box. So what we do is we normally use able or bind. These two expressions help us to bind the data in our repeater or list or grid view. What is a drawback using this thing? It is working fine so far. I don't have any issue. It's working for me, and my product is also going well with this. But the drawback I can see is that it uses a reflection. So using a reflection, it pulls the data out of your model, out of your entity, and it will display in the screen, or it will generate the HTML. That is the one part which of course impact the performance, and we already have seen through Vishesh that what is the impact of performance hit. Another thing is that there is a no intelligence that what are the properties available in my particular model. Say if I'm using an employee, then employee name, first name, whatever it is, I don't know until and unless I have to see. So it is a pure string. So whatever you type, you have to make sure that you put the proper string using a proper capitalization. So that also matters. So it doesn't give any intelligence. And of course, if you put any typo, there is no compilation error. So all such things are having a in this eval or bind things. Let me show you existing thing, so that help us to remind what we have been doing so far. Okay, there are many pages are open. Let me close all of them and type data control. Yes. Okay, so I have kept the our repeater control ready so that we can save the time. What I did is that I just created one content repeater has a item template. Inside the item I am showing a department ID and name. Let me execute what is there, what is coming in the screen. I want to open in the IE. Okay, yeah, here we go. Okay, so we got the data, so it is fine. No, there is no issue as such. But what if I just make a small mistake? I just made an ID smaller. Let's see whether it's working or not. I just build it and I'm coming back to the page and just refreshed. It doesn't matter. Okay, but typo. Yeah. If I just did small typo over here, it will pop up the bring up the blue yellow screen. There is an error, and this will give you at runtime. There is no way you get to know at the compilation time that there is some problem. Okay, and here I don't know that I should put the ID proper. It's ID or department ID or what. I have to remember and put properly. So this is the one we can see that's a drawback here. And of course, in the code behind there is a simple thing. Let me tell you what the entity structure I have defined here. I have just used the entity framework to quickly design my models and all. And this is the my what is the data? Yeah, this is the my model. It's simple model, very standard thing. The department, it has a department ID, it has a list of employees, group name, and something few more fields. Similarly, I have the employee model, which has a birth date, employee ID, blah blah blah. There are some required fields are available. So very standard, simple things. There is nothing fancy over here. And I have the one simple DB context. Also, I have created, of course, deriving from the DB context, test DB context, where I have the departments and employee to property. Okay. So coming back to the code, here you see that I am just I have my repeater, the name I have given employee, and data source I'm binding with the departments, and I'm taking the first 10 items and converting it to the array, and that array is getting binded with the data source of employee repeater, and then I'm just finally binding the data. So this is what I have done. Okay, so this is things we have been doing. Now let me come back to the PPT and see what's new in the new site. Okay, so now there is a new thing called type data binding. Type data binding means in the all the controls now they have .NET has introduced new property called item type property. You can define the which type of class or object or which type you want to bind with the this particular your control. So now control can understand that now I'm going to bind with this thing, this particular entity. So he can control can understand what are the properties available in that. It will give you the option and all the intelligence. We'll see there. There is a two thing. You can have an item to bind the one-way binding, and you can have a bind item to bind the two-way binding. It also help you in development. It provides the intelligence which help you to easily figure it out what is there and all, and it also help you to navigate to that particular property if you won't have some issue. Normally we do this thing that when we are present writing some code, we want to we press F12 or go to the definition. We keep doing this thing. So from now you can do from your SPX page as well. Okay, coming back to the demo again. I will use the same thing. I will not use create a new repeater. Okay, let me say item type. The moment I press equal, what it does is that it will go, it will, I mean Visual Studio, it is not the runtime just for the Visual Studio, it goes through my entire solution, it will pull all the available classes and it will show me over here. So these are I have, it is showing me here. I can say I am interested in the department. It's a smart guy. It's just figured out where are the departments available. I have chosen this particular department. Okay, so now my repeater can understand that I am binding with this department entity. We already seen where is the department entity. Where is it? Where is it? Yes, let me go to the department entity. Yes, here it. Sorry, go back. Okay, here is the department entity. So it is a department ID, it is a name, group name, and stuff. Okay, so now rather typing eval, all I can do is that I can say item. This is the new thing introduced in 4.5. On item dot, you can see it's like a object of department. Okay, so when we create in the C sharp, we say department obj is equal to new department, and when you say obj dot, it is the same thing. Now you can see all the available options within the department. I can say department ID here. I can say item dot. Let me save it, build it, and go back to the browser and see. Wow, here we go. Okay, so it's the same thing. What we have done so far, rather eval, we can use a now item type. Okay, so that's all about type data binding. Yeah, one point I just missed that, as I mentioned, we can go to the definition as well. So if I say here name and I say right click and say go to definition, where is that? Yeah, it's here. Okay, so I can directly take into the particular class and property, which we have been doing in our normal C# code. Okay, so that's all about data binding. Yeah, we have seen the demo. Moving to next feature called model binding data controls. Okay, so what is a model binding data control? Okay, before that, again, as our what I did last time, what we have been doing, let me explain. Let me show you the demo what we have been doing to bind the data, not only just for the viewing purpose. Now I am coming to the grid view, where you want to do some CRUD operation. Also in the grid view we can edit the data, we can view, delete, stuff like that. We can do so many things in the grid view. Okay, so all such things we have been doing manually, that we write the row editing event, we write the updating event, and pull the data from the grid view, find out the particular control, from the control get the value of the new item, and then bind that value to our model or our object, and then finally go back to the database access layer and say save the entity. So all such things are manual CRUD operations. Now if you want to validate whether the data is proper, we have to write our own code everywhere, that the name property has this many proper minimum character or maximum this much character, or amount is like this, birth date is like that, blah blah blah. So all such many validation we have to do. But if you recollect from the WPF or Silverlight or MVC, they are giving data in the model. We can annotate with some required field or some other validation, which we can't, which we can use there and validate our entities proper data or not. But ASP.NET, it doesn't look there so far. Okay, it was not there. And by doing all such thing, we can understand the code is completely bloated. You in the code behind, you can see bulk of code, and it's difficult to manage. We have been experiencing this thing. Okay, so let me show you the same things. So what we have been doing. Let me close this thing and take me the model binding form. Yeah. So this is what we have been doing it. All I did is that I have created a just simple grid view. There I have no columns auto generation, given the name. I have said, yeah, I want edit button. I said, yeah, the row editing event is this, canceling event is this, updating event is this, all such things we have to do. And then I have set the uh, my columns. Okay, I have bind my column. Now let me execute this thing now. Let me see. Yes, here we go. So in this page, departments are there. I can say edit, I can say cancel, I can say update, I can do whatever we want. We can do update and cancel. Let me show you the code behind code. For the sake of demo, I have not written much over here. Simple things: bind data, take the 10 departments. While editing, set the proper editing index. While cancelling, edit again, set the -1 so that it will not there won't be any row in edit mode. And updating also, I am doing the same thing. Actually, what we do is that here we go and update our data into the database. That's what we do somewhere here. We do the validation, everything, all the such codes here. But sake of demo, I have not done anything. Yeah. One more thing we have to do here to find the data from available control. So if I come back to the demo, so if I say, if I modify the name over here, so I have to find the text name from particular row of grid view. I have to find the text box control. From the control, I have to get the name, and that name I have to bind the value to the my model, and then I can save. So this is the what we have been doing so far. Okay. So coming to what's available and how .NET 4.5 or ASP.NET 4.5 makes our developers' life easy. Okay, so it's a model binding which is introduced in 4.5. So what is a model binding? Model binding is it's not a new term or nothing new. Actually, if it's there in .NET world since long back, from WPF, Silverlight, or even MVC as well. All it does is that whatever the model you have, let's me give the example of MVC. In MVC, you can have a model using a controller. It will pull, whenever you make a request to the server, controller will pull the data from the model and it will keep your entity ready. Okay, or same thing, you can bind the data, whatever data is available in the model. So MVC, it's there, it's not new. But now the same thing is available, same thing is coming back in not coming back, but the new thing available coming in ASP.NET 4.5. So what is the benefit? So benefit is that first of all the controls, rich controls become rich control, and it supports data control, this data binding, model binding. It also help you in the validation. We will see how it will help, but it also help the validation the way we have been doing in other places, MVC and all. And it is extensible also. You can extend based on the requirement. One more thing it is providing, it also provides a value provider. Means yeah, you have some data available in one control, and that's the things you want to use in another control. Some way you can use the value provider over there. We will see the demo as well. What's the value provider? But before going to value provider, let me see what's there in a model binding in the new thing. Okay. Okay. So now I will remove the existing thing, whatever we have here. Okay. Let me keep it here, and let me remove the code also, because I don't want any code over here. I don't want to data bind. I want remove the binding, remove the update, delete all such bulk of code I am removing, and my now code base you can see is very easy. Okay, so now how can we bind the data? They have introduced a new method called select method. On select method, I'm using ASP.NET IntelliSense to create a new method over here. So in the new method, I don't have to bind the data explicitly, which we have done just sometimes back. That get the data set to the data source and then bind data. Nothing. All you need to do is that you have to implement this get data method and return the whatever the data you are interested in. There is a two thing you can return. One is IEnumerable and another thing is IQueryable. IEnumerable means it's just set up a collection which we have to manage. What are the things we want, pagination, sorting and all. But IQueryable, we must be aware of what is IQueryable, which got introduced along with the link queue that helps you to whatever the collection of data you have, how can you use a more query of the data, the way you write a SQL query, how can you do the similar kind of thing in object model available in the CSR. That's iQueryable. So you can use iQueryable or you can return the IEnumerable. But the text they have given here that if you do IEnumerable, then you have to manage maximum row, start index, row count, sort, expression, everything we have to do our own. So I will not use IEnumerable. Let me use iQueryable only, and which is recommended, and by default they have given the iQueryable only. Okay, so all I will do is that I will say db dot departments. That's it. Okay, I am not doing anything else. I am just returning the db dot departments. Last time we have done the to array. Now here I will not do to array as well, and I'm just binding it. My other things are as it is, didn't modify anything else. Let me see, let me build it. Wow, it is okay. But I can see there are a lot many things are coming in. Last time I have done the only 10 record. How can I manage this thing? What we can do is that simple thing, we can say allow pagination true and page size, let me say 5. Okay, build it, come back to the browser and hit. Hey, what happened? Okay, so now what they are saying is that the select method should return an iQueryable item type. So when you want to use a advanced feature of this particular binding, model binding, we have to explicitly mention that, you have to say that what kind of data is coming back. So I can say iQueryable of department. Where is the department? Yes. Okay, let me build. Now refresh. Keep methods keep only support for the stored link entities. The order by must be called before the methods keep. Hey, where is the wrong problem with this? Is variable. Okay. Just a moment. What went wrong here? Okay. Pagination we have done. Select method we have done. Oh, we have not mentioned here the what is a type item type. Without that, how it can understand? Okay. Hopping. Still, it is saying the same problem. Build it. To left 5. Give me a moment, please. Yes, we have to say data key name as well. That is the issue. I don't know. Let me see. Yes. Okay. So we have to explicitly say that what is the data key, what is the primary key for that particular items. Okay. Where is the data? Data has not come. let me say header text here. Let me set header text here as well. I can say ID, and let me set the allow sorting as well true. Okay, and yes, we are still using the previous things. Item dot department ID, item dot name. Okay, and item bind item dot name. Okay, the data is not coming back here. Allow pagination, auto generate data keys we would given, department type we would given. Give me a minute, please. Let me figure it out. What is the problem here? This is our data, our developer's life. Whenever we present something, it will get stuck.
We have a saying in the whole of our gang, before any demo, you got to pray the demo gods. We don't know who the demo gods are, but just pray the demo gods that they're happy with you. No problem.
Yes, yes, yes. Everything is fine. We have set edit button. Let me which is creating a problem. Ideally should not. Select method is proper. We have given the select method. The key we have given. Paper things. Okay. Okay. Let me first do the sorting whether that is coming. Pagination is creating a problem. Let's see. Okay, here in order to sort I have to give the sort expression, means I have to give the field name. Here I can say department ID, and here also I have to say sort expression, I can say name. Okay, yes, sorting is working. There was some problem in the pagination. Let's see, we'll come back there. What is the problem? Okay, so now here you can see the sorting part. On click of name or ID, you can see the mouse over is also the changing, mouse pointer is also changing, things are working fine. Okay, so that way we can allow the sorting. Now let me allow the pagination. Okay, and page size I can say 3. Yes, what was the problem? We made a page earlier, it was page size or something else, I don't know. Anyway, so now we can see that everything is working fine. Okay, whenever we present, something will not work. Okay, so now pagination also we have seen, page size also, sorting also we have seen. So we have seen that what is a line of code, how many line of code I have written to enable the pagination, enable the sorting and everything. One thing we have not seen so far, that what is the edit things, how can we do editing. So if I click on edit, I have not written any code. You can see here there is no code for that in edit, but still it is working fine. And if I can cancel also, it is working. Edit, when the update will not work. Okay, because they are expecting that updating is not supported unless the update method is specified. Matlab, ASP.NET will never get to know that what do you want to do with this data, how do you want to update it. It doesn't know the data source. So explicitly we have to tell ASP.NET that okay, I will manage the update part, you just give me the updated entity. Okay, so you have to write the update method and they will guide you what to do for this. First of all, they are saying that when you want to update, make sure that the data key name should come properly here. So your parameter should be your key, department ID. Okay, Now here you are saying that this is the department is null. You find out your department old object. So I can say my db dot department find department id. Just a minute, my charger. Let me attach the charger. My battery is dying. Yeah, it is. Okay. So now here they are saying that find your item. Let me find my department ID. Okay, and then if it is the department ID is not find, then you can set the error as well. The department ID is not available. So here you can set model state 8 error model error. So this is also something new. You can set your error in your model state, which is available at the client side, and that you can display in the somewhere in the your screen. Okay, finally it will. This is the screen size. Okay, screen size. Font. You want me to increase the font size? Yeah. Okay, so okay, so here we have seen that we found the our actual object from the database, actual data from database. Then if there is error, I am setting the error, and they have also given me the new method called try update model. All it does is that it will take the old object and it will update the new data which is coming from the client, which is automatically. I have not done anything for that. And here you can validate the your model as well, that the as per your requirement the model is properly bind. Okay, and then finally we go. So let me put a breakpoint over here. Let me execute. Let me close this thing and then execute in debug mode. So we will see that how it is updating the our old object which is coming from the database with the new data which is coming from the client. I can say engineering and then say changed. I have changed the value. I got the item from database. I can see. Let me see what is there here in the name. Near name is engineering. Okay. After try update. Now let me see what is there in the name. Yeah, it's changed. So new value is populated over here. So things are done. Then I can do my own. I can write my code and save the changes whatever I want, and done. So we have seen that to keep or create a editable grid view, how much code we have written. Let me just quickly revise the things what I have done. I have, so first of all I have set the my item type to my department, that this is my item type. I have given the key of this my particular entities. I have given the select method, that this is what I want. This method will give me the data which returns the iQueryable. Since it is a iQueryable, we already seen it's a kind of link query based query. So I can simply say allow sorting, allow pagination and all. So here the moment you say click on name or click on ID or click on pagination, so model binding kicks in immediately and takes control. So it hit our this particular method. It call this method and get the data, and based on our requirement sorting or pagination, it will extend this query and give the data back, and it will bind to the our data query or a grid view. So we have seen how our life has become so easy to develop the grid view. Earlier it was too much. Now it's just including validation as well. Okay. Moving on to the next item. Oh, sorry. Value provider.
Hitesh, there's one question. Do you want to quickly address that?
Yes, tell me.
Uh, People are asking, can you please share this code? So, is this available maybe on www.asp.net, or would you be able to just zip that particular, whatever project that you have? Maybe you can post it to me or something. I can put it in the b.net files section, and then people can just take it and use.
Yeah, I will definitely do. I will do it.
Okay. Sure. So, whoever has asked the question, please keep looking out for information on b.net Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com/group/b.net, and in this files section, we will be, tagging it very appropriately, and then we'll upload the project, because whatever project code you're seeing now, we'll be putting it up there. Thank you.
Okay. So anything else? Otherwise, I can move on to the value providers.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, good. Okay, so let me show you what I want to show in this new value provider. Okay, so this is the simple page I have created in .NET 4.5. Of course, you have written here. All I want is that based on my drop down, in the drop down I am saying that some number I have given, and I want that whatever the number I have given, if the employee count is that, then show those departments over here. So example, I can say 2. There is a no employee. If I say 5, there is a one department which is employee count 5. If I say 7, there is a no, there is 10. Not only the 5 has some things, or I can say all. Okay, so if you just really think of the WPF or stuff, it's a kind of model view model pattern that if you do something in the one control, it will update the another part. So how can we do same thing in the ASP.NET? You just I will not show the older way of doing it. Let me jump into the directly new way. You're keeping a time constraint. Okay, so let me show you how can we do this thing. How can we achieve this thing? And another thing on top of that, here based on department, I want to see all the available employees over here. Can you see the employees? Okay, it's in extreme right side. Yeah, okay, so it's here department. If I change my department, I can see that the other set of employees are there. Sales department, another set of employee, select, purchase, anything. So when whatever the department I will choose, right hand side it will show me the selected employee from the selected department. So how can we achieve that as well? Okay, so let me jump into the code. Okay, let me close this thing, value provider form. Okay, so I have kept the stuff simple ready. All I did is that I have kept the department, and one I have created one drop down list which shows some numbers. Of course, it's not a production code. Let me copy my grid view from the previous whatever we just now created. Okay, so that we can save the time. And I have to make sure. Okay, and the name I kept as a GRD DPT. Okay, and of course this class will not have my method. I will edit. I, let me remove this thing. Okay, let me say select method is equal to, why it is not creating? Because I have copied from somewhere else. It doesn't like that. Method. Okay, let me say dpt get data. Okay, it doesn't like me to copy from somewhere. And let me copy the get data method as well from here. Come to the code. Oh, it was in debugging mode probably. That is the reason it was not working. Method. Actually, we were in debug mode. That's the reason it was not helping us in creating a new things. Okay, let me okay, and using this. So dot department. Now coming to the okay, let's see first of all we are getting the proper data, then we'll see how can we bind the things. Okay, so currently pagination and things are there, but this is not working. So how can we make it work? Here we already said the auto post back true, so whenever we change the value it will post back to the server, and in the server what all we can do is that we can say here now add the attribute to your parameter. Okay, so if you say attribute, it will not directly control attribute, it will not come. So how can I get the my using statement? I can type the full thing attribute, and now it is showing me that using the model binding, which is a new thing. Okay, and then of course attribute is not required. I can remove the attribute, and I can say I want the integer as an input and the value provided by this DDL count.
Hitesh, can you increase the font size for the code
Yes.
editor?
Yes, 150. Is it visible now?
Yep, that's perfect.
So all I did is that I told my data get data method that this is the control. Okay, control will provide me the value. So by default, if you don't, there is some parameter you can add, but if you don't add any parameter, control ID or any other thing, what it will do is by default it whatever the parameter name you give it will take as a control name, and select default property, it will give you the fetch the data from default property and it will give you. So DDL count is my value provider. Now I can say let me say I variable deep department query is equal to, I don't want to return directly, I want to do like this, and return query. All I want to check is that if DDL count has any value, then I will change my query to query where department dot employees dot count is equal to supplied value. Okay, that's it. I didn't do much thing, simple query I have written, and I told link you that entity framework that if the data DDL count is something, give me the data, give me the department only if the employee counts matches with the my parameter. Now let me build it and execute again. Okay, so first of all I say all means there is no value. If I say 5, yeah, here we go, we have the value. 2, there is no value, we know already. 5, so now we have seen that how can I supply one control to bind the data to another control. Okay, so that way I have defined the my query. Now let me add another grid view which I already defined over here. Okay, and here all I will do is that this is my employee. I can say item type is equal to employee. Here it is. Okay, I want to allow pagination, allow paging. I can say true. Page size I can say 10. Okay, here I can add columns. Quickly add me the uh, what is the okay, here I can say employee name. Okay, yeah, it is first name. Okay, I don't want anything more over here. Okay, and of course I have to tell them that what is my select method. it will create the new select method. Here I will say employees. That's it. Let's see what is coming in now. Yeah, the same things whatever we made last time. Okay, the data key name we have to say business entity ID is my data key. Then run it server is not coming here. Group employee sort expression we have to say first. Okay. Oh, let me say that I don't want all the column. Auto generate column false. I don't want to show this much data. Okay. Control F5. Okay. Header is also not proper. Let me say header text. Okay. First name. And here we go. Okay. Now all I want is that when I select the any department, I want to see those particular employee over here. Okay, so what we can do is that first in the our department grid view, let me say that auto select auto generate select button true. I don't want edit button, but I want the select button to true. Okay, and here in this method for the employee, I have to tell that some control is there which gives the value. I can tell the control name over here grid. Let me check the name, otherwise again typo will create me put me in trouble. Okay, then after that I can say integer what is the yes department ID. Okay, now here I can say employees dot where employee e dot department ID is equal to supply department ID. Coming back to the page, hope everything will work as expected. Here we go. There is nothing. Okay, let me say select. Yes, as I selected, see somewhere in the down you can see the first name has come. All the name is coming. When I select the other employee, other department, the data is coming accordingly. So that way we have seen. Let me sum up what I have shown you here. That first of all, in the grid view, first department grid we have bind it with the drop down list, that based on the number of count I am interested in, please show me only those department which has those many employees. And then second we have seen that whatever the department I will choose, show me the only employees who are belong to that department. And you can see the code, how much code I have written. Let me reduce the code, my font size to show you the things. How many line? 1 2 3 4, probably another 5 or 5, another around 15 line of code. I have completed my one complete parent child relationship kind of application. So that's about the new control of the new feature of the ASP.NET 4.5. Of course, you can value provider can be form, control, query string, cookie, profile, route data, or session. Anything can be your value providers. So that is what I wanted to cover for the day. This we will share this PPT. Here I have given some reference also where I got this complete material. You can easily get to know about that. Uh, that is it from our end. Any questions or anything anybody want to ask?
Yeah, there's one question. I think this has got to do with the data key name that you added for the grade. So question is, what happens if I have a composite primary key as part of my, I think the model or
The
something like that?
question I have not tried, but I believe what you can do is that let me try. If you say uh, probably by comma separated or something like that, you can say your another primary key. But
Yeah,
I have not tried. I have to try it out and give the final answer. But something there is something which you can compose it along with this.
I think that's all the question that we have. So,
Okay.
Hitesh and Kumar, so thank you very much for this is such a wonderful session. I think we had fun watching this in the live in the webed. So for those of the guys who missed it and wanted to have the recap, so here you go. So the video will be available at youtube.com/b.net TV, BDOTNET TV. It's gonna take probably 5 minutes from now, so just be there. You can watch it anytime you want. And thanks once again for Kumar and Hitesh from Aditi Technologies for being part of our B.NET family and presenting it as part of the Hangout. And we'll look forward to getting you back again sometime in future. Thank you very much, and thanks to everybody who's been watching us live. Have a good evening, have a good night, and we'll catch you again in the next Hangout. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.